Y'all experts. Y'all know about killing?
Well, I'd like to hear about it, potheads.
You smoke this shit so to escape from reality? Yeah, I don't need this shit. I am reality.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Review Lens. Today we're diving deep into one of the greatest war films of all time, Oliver Stone's Platoon from 1986. This isn't just your average war movie, it's a very visceral, personal, and brutally honest look at the Vietnam War, and it holds a unique place in film history. So even if you don't care for war movies, stick around, because we're going to break down what makes Platoon an absolute masterpiece. Let's set the stage. Platoon tells the story of Chris Taylor, played by a young Charlie Sheen, a college dropout who enlists to fight in Vietnam. Unlike many war films that focus on the heroic or strategic side of combat, Platoon dives straight into the chaos, fear, and moral ambiguity of warfare. We see everything from Chris's perspective as he grapples with the grueling physical toll of combat and the psychological horrors of war. This isn't a movie about clean battles and clear enemies. It's messy, it's complex, and it's real. Oliver Stone, the writer and director, based Platoon on his own experiences as a soldier in Vietnam. That's one of the reasons why this film is so raw and authentic. Unlike Hollywood war epics that romanticize the battlefield, Platoon feels unflinching and grounded, making it stand out from the crowd. Now, the casting in this movie is phenomenal. Charlie Sheen delivers a strong performance as the young and idealistic Chris. He starts off naive and hopeful, thinking he can make a difference. But as the film progresses, we see him break down and lose that innocence. It's a subtle, powerful performance that works as the emotional core of the movie. But let's get to the real showstoppers here. Willem Dafoe and Tom Berenger. These two play Staff Sergeant Elias and Sergeant Barnes, essentially two opposing forces both trying to shape Chris. Dafoe as Elias is compassionate and moral, embodying the humanity and camaraderie that can still exist in the midst of war. You can't help but root for him. On the other hand, Tom Berenger's Barnes is ruthless, violent, and embodies the darker, more primal side of humanity. He's the kind of guy who does whatever it takes to win, no matter how brutal or corrupt the means. Their ideological and personal conflict is the driving force of the movie, and watching these two incredible actors go head-to-head is a thrill on its own. The war itself almost becomes a secondary focus. The real battle is between these two leaders, and the way they influence Chris and the rest of the platoon. You're constantly questioning, who's right? Who's wrong? And by the end, you realize there's no simple answer. Visually, Platoon is stunning in a haunting way. It's not pretty, it's drenched in sweat, mud, and blood, but that's what makes it so powerful. The cinematography by Robert Richardson does an amazing job of immersing you in the jungles of Vietnam. You feel the heat, the rain, and the constant tension. Every frame feels like it could explode with violence at any moment. Oliver Stone's direction is razor sharp. You can tell this is a deeply personal film for him. He doesn't shy away from showing the horrors of war. There are scenes that are downright uncomfortable to watch. But that's the point. Stone wasn't interested in sugarcoating anything. He wanted to confront audiences with the brutal realities of combat, and he succeeded. The combat sequences are chaotic and full of adrenaline. You're right in the middle of the action, bullets whizzing past, explosions shaking the ground, and the ever-present fear of death. But what's most striking is the way Stone balances these scenes with moments of quiet introspection. There are times when the silence is just as powerful as the gunfire. One of the reasons Platoon resonates so deeply is its exploration of morality during war. It asks hard questions. What happens to a person's sense of right and wrong when they're dropped into a situation where survival is the only thing that matters? How much can a person take before they lose themselves? These themes give Platoon its emotional weight and make it a timeless film. The difference between Elias and Barnes is the perfect metaphor for this moral ambiguity. On one hand, you have ideals, hope, compassion, and the belief in doing what's right. On the other hand, you have cold pragmatism, ruthlessness, and the idea that morality is a luxury you can't afford in war. And Chris is caught in the middle. I can't talk about Platoon without mentioning the music. It is used masterfully throughout the film. It's a heartbreaking, almost mournful piece that underscores the futility and tragedy of war. Combined with the on-screen visuals, the music will stick with you long after the credits roll. What a better movie than this to include Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit. One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small, and the ones that Mother gives you don't do anything at all. Go ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall. Guys, Platoon isn't just a war movie, it's a human story. It's about survival, morality, and the ways war strips people down to their rawest selves. It doesn't glorify combat or shy away from showing the ugly truths. Instead, it forces you to confront the ethical complexities and emotional toll of war. It's as much about what's happening inside the characters as what's happening around them. Okay, that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know in the comments what you think of Platoon. How does it stack up against other war films? And which performances stood out to you the most? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into classic cinema. Until next time, stay safe and stay tuned for a review of the first movie I ever saw in the theater. I was 5 years old. And by the way, save us a balcony seat.